So finally, we'd love to hear just a little bit about the personal stories of the people we interview. So how, I know you started as a lawyer. What made you decide you wanted to get into politics?
Yeah, so it was just frustration. Some people wake up and, they knew on day one they were going into politics. They were poli-sci majors or they had family members that were in politics. There's always a dynasty that you can find, a political dynasty somewhere. And then there are those of us that wake up one day and something has motivated us. For some, it has been some radical movement of some sort, as we know with Maxwell Frost, who became an activist as it relates to guns. For me, it was waking up, having to defend people consistently in a state and finding inconsistencies amongst the counties and saying that the system just wasn't fair. And I wanted to create a more fair system. In addition to that, working as a civil rights lawyer and getting poured out of court because seemingly all of the protections lied with the police departments. And here it is, you had people that lost their loved ones for no good reason. The very people that were supposed to protect them killed them. And then the ultimate protection still didn't lie with them, even in death. It still really lied with law enforcement. I just felt like I wasn't doing enough. I felt like my law degree was not going as far as it could. And I felt like they needed someone that actually understood how these laws were affecting people in real time and not hypothesizing or pontificating about how these laws worked, but had actually lived this, had actually experienced the death of clients in custody and the death of folk that were just riding as a passenger in their car. And saw, even a 17-year-old that was incarcerated for 2 years for stealing candy out of the concession stand at his high school, and that was considered a felony. I felt like they needed someone who had real life experiences within these laws, who could talk about them, explain them, and fix them. Little did I know that they really didn't want fixing. I was green. I was really believing that once I got there and told them about these experiences, that we could really make progress. And so I quickly adjusted and started to go on the offensive and attacking them for their hypocritical stances. So I did that in the state house, and seemingly I'll have to do a decent amount of that here in DC as well. So it was just basically frustration that led me to run for the state house. And then ultimately, after serving my one term, my congresswoman, who was a tender 87, called me and said it was time for her to retire. And she thought that I should be the one to run and replace her. I thought she was punking me. I was looking for the cameras. She had been retiring for about a decade and had never really pulled the trigger. But she pulled the trigger this time, and she stood with me throughout the entire election, and we were successful.